Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Our herd of ostriches is a living vault of immunity.
We have an opportunity to do something helpful.
A BC ostrich farm says it will keep fighting to save hundreds of its birds from a cull order. Plus, raging wildfires as smoke and smog spike.
I think all our members are on, high alert, high stress.
BC bakes under heat and air quality warnings.
Kind of smells bad.
Yeah.
And it's also concerning for the environment.
And a huge demand for vasectomies. What's behind it, and why doctors are calling for more dollars to do the procedure.
I really feel that a new solution is required.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
A BC ostrich farm says the fight to save hundreds of its birds is not over. A cull has been ordered because of avian flu concerns, and now the flock is gaining traction south of the border as a high-profile ally weighs in. CBC's Yasmin Ghanea has the details.
These ostriches living on a remote farm in the BC interior are set to be culled, but American officials are ramping up their campaign to save them.
I think we have an opportunity to do something helpful for Canada, for the United States, and the global community in general.
Dr. Mehmet Oz, the former TV host turned U.S. government health official, claims the 400 ostriches could be the key to medical breakthroughs. The cull was ordered in December by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency after 2 dead ostriches tested positive for H5N1 avian flu. Killing the entire surviving flock is necessary, the agency says, to control the virus. Universal Ostrich Farms disagrees.
We have had no illness and no deaths on our farms for 223 days. They are thriving.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has also taken up the cause, asking the birds be saved and studied. Oz and RFK Jr. claim the ostriches may have developed special immunity, something infectious disease experts dispute.
There's nothing unusual or remarkable about these animals that would interest the scientific community.
They say the chances that the birds are still carrying avian flu are low, but not zero.
They can be healthy carriers. If they have the virus, then that virus is circulating and potentially replicating, mutating.
Backed by a U.S. billionaire, the farm has been fighting the cull order in court. And after losing in Canada's Federal Court of Appeal on Thursday, they're ready to go to the Supreme Court. Some experts say this long legal battle could set a dangerous precedent.
And when you're dealing with a potential pandemic virus and something where you need to move quickly, you can't allow everyone just to bog things down, weaponizing the court system.
Oz says if Canadian officials don't agree to keep the ostriches alive, he'll try to bring them to the U.S. Yasmin Ghanea, CBC News, Vancouver.
There's a huge demand for vasectomies, and not enough doctors are willing to do them under the public system. As Katie DeRosa reports, some are deciding to go private, leading to higher costs.
If you want to get a vasectomy in BC, you're faced with 2 choices: a month's or even year-long wait under the public system, or a $2,000 bill at a private clinic. Some doctors who perform vasectomies are opting out of the publicly funded system and going private, which leaves more patients paying out of pocket. That's got advocates with BC family doctors worried.
A significant decline in the number of physicians providing vasectomy care, as well as the number of services provided for vasectomies within the publicly funded healthcare system.
Dr. Jonathan Follows, who runs a vasectomy clinic in Sydney, tells CBC he performs the majority of vasectomy procedures on southern Vancouver Island. He opted out of the Medical Services Plan, or MSP, at the end of December, and now charges $850 for the 10-minute procedure. Follows said he made the decision because he was losing money under the public system, which reimburses doctors $104 per vasectomy performed.
Well, I started doing vasectomy in 1991. The fee code was $98. It's now $104. So in over 30 years, gone up 6%. This is the kind of nonsense that family doctors are getting from the medical services plan.
Follows is retiring at the end of August. The clinic is being taken over by Dr. Neil Pollock, a private provider who charges $2,000 for a vasectomy. The Pollock clinics are the largest provider of vasectomies in BC, providing about 50,000 in the last 25 years. Pollock defended the price of the procedure.
We charge a fee that's commensurate with our extensive experience.
Follows and the BC family doctors are urging the province to increase the amount that doctors are reimbursed under MSP. The medical director of this Vancouver clinic, which offers vasectomies under the public system, says the waitlist is so full, with 500 people in the queue, it's had to stop taking more names.
If the government has put in all this time and investment into providing free birth control to decrease unintended pregnancy, why would you not make vasectomy more accessible when it's a permanent solution?
The Ministry of Health says it is aware of concerns about the lack of access to publicly funded vasectomies, but it could not say if there are plans to change what doctors are paid for them. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
Ottawa is investing almost $7 million in two Coquitlam-based businesses, and both are focused on reducing waste in the energy and textile sectors.
I am incredibly inspired by our local innovators, the vision, the ingenuity, the Canadian edge that we have, and the commitment to making our country and the world a better place.
$4.9 million will go to Moment Energy, which focuses on repurposing EV batteries and extending their life. Another $1.8 million will go to Novo Textile Company, and it plans to divert more discarded clothing from landfills and produce new textiles by combining recycled fibers with wood pulp. The BC forest industry is anxiously awaiting the release of an American investigation into wood product imports. So, U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the Section 232 investigation in the spring, suggesting that imported wood products could be a national security threat to the U.S. The investigation could result in further tariffs on top of the 35% duty that's now applied to Canadian lumber. BC's Forest Minister Ravi Parmar says the findings of the U.S. investigation are expected sometime this fall.
Our understanding is that the president has received the 232 investigation. He may be sourcing more data, but as we know, he has released information that has impacted our pharmaceuticals industry, our copper industry, and so it very well could be just a matter of time that he puts another attack on our forest sector.
Parmar previously said the investigation could result in quotas to limit the amount of forestry products that are brought into the U.S., but that still remains unclear. And search and rescue crews have recovered a body from Kamloops on Saturday after the swimmer drowned while trying to get to a dock. Kamloops Search and Rescue say the person was last seen swimming towards Brooker Marina in the resort community of Tobiano near Kamloops. First responders say an underwater drone located the swimmer's body at the bottom of the lake. This marks the third drowning death in the Kamloops area since July. Meanwhile, crews in West Kootenay also responded to a drowning Saturday evening near Christina Lake's public beach. RCMP say bystanders and first responders immediately provided CPR, and the patient was then transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. BC Coroner Service is investigating. Crews are fighting new wildfires in BC that were discovered this past weekend. Evacuation alerts remain in place for dozens of properties in the Fraser Valley and the Spuzim First Nation along the Fraser River. Pinky Wong has more details on the heat as well as an air quality warning.
Helicopters have been bucketing the Sailor Bar fire since Sunday. The fire is currently burning on the east side of the Fraser River, about 7 kilometers north of Yale. The blaze was discovered late Saturday night and grew to 120 hectares by Sunday. The BC Wildfire Service says crews' efforts to slow the spread of the blaze have been successful. The fire has been burning near the CN rail line through the valley. Crews getting help with the Poseidon firefighting rail car to dampen the blaze.
Crews conducted overnight patrols with a water train and saw minimal fire growth. Any growth seen was on the upper part of the mountain, away from community.
The Fraser Valley Regional District has issued evacuation alerts that affects almost 200 people. Around 60 Spuzim First Nation members are also affected.
All our members are on, high alert, high stress because of all the fires that have happened in the canyon over the last few years. It's really scary.
The interim chief says the First Nation has evacuation plans in place if needed.
We have a bus ready in our community and we'll make sure every single member gets out safely. So we are prepared for sure.
Environment Canada issued a special air quality warning for Metro Vancouver due to smoke and in the Fraser Valley due to the wildfire smoke. The bad air is only noticeable for some in Abbotsford.
I can see that it's like smoky and smoggy right now.
So far it seems okay. When I haven't noticed anything really harsh.
I personally don't like smoke like that. It kind of smells bad. Yeah. And it's also concerning for the environment.
Air quality expert says air contaminant from smog and wildfire smoke is concerning.
Is air contaminant that's harmful for human health because those tiny particles, they penetrate deep in human lungs and they stay there, so the inflammation could be developed.
She is urging people with pre-existing lung and heart conditions to stay indoor with air conditioning and close the windows until the warning is lifted. Pinky Wong, CBC News, Vancouver.
Darius Madavi joins us now with a first look at the weather. Darius, it's been very hot. Is it sticking around?
It is indeed, Baneet, especially if you're in the interior where we do have some heat warnings in place. You'll notice no precipitation in sight anytime soon, none showing up on the radar, although a few lightning strikes are possible, especially as we get later into the week in some of the mountain ranges down in the south. This excessive heat warning should come down around Wednesday. This one may stick around right through Friday for both the South Okanagan, the Southern Thompson region, and the Fraser Canyon. So a number of places where we're keeping a close eye on in terms of the fire situation. You can see those really high temperatures here on the south coast as well. We'll talk more later in the show.
We will. Thank you, Darius.
Thank you.
And a series of airstrikes on a hospital in southern Gaza is provoking international condemnation tonight. Local health officials say at least 20 people are dead, including medical workers and journalists. Israel's prime minister called it a tragic mishap, saying the military is investigating. CBC's Sasha Petrusik reports.
Israel's first fatal strike on Nasser Hospital sent medical staff scrambling as Palestinian reporters responded. It was the second hit, though, the so-called double tap, which proved even more deadly. Rescuers arriving to help those injured, journalists on a staircase they routinely use. The photographer in the red on the left survives, but you're about to see the second blast. Then it's hard to watch. At least 20 died, according to Gaza health officials, including 4 medical workers and 5 journalists. All of us reporters were there for the explosion, says Hatem Omar. Israel says its tanks initially targeted the hospital because soldiers saw a Hamas camera pointed at them and reportedly thought they were being tracked. Shock and grief spread quickly. Please take our picture. I have no photo of us together, yells the brother of one of the dead journalists, Muaz Abu Taha. All 5 worked for major media outlets, including Reuters, Al Jazeera, and Associated Press. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls it a tragic mishap, which Israel deeply regrets and promised an investigation.
The IDF does not intentionally target civilians.
It's the second time in 2 weeks that Israel has killed groups of Palestinian reporters, more than 10 altogether, in a war that's seen some 200 die.
We're in this endless loop because Israel has not been held accountable for any of these killings. This is the deadliest conflict for journalists that CPJ has ever documented.
Global condemnation was swift. Canada called Israel's strikes horrifying and unacceptable.
So it's a nasty situation, very nasty, horrible thing.
The UN says journalists and medical staff have to be able to work without intimidation.
The Secretary General strongly condemns the killings of Palestinians today in Israeli strikes.
Vancouver's Integrity Commissioner has ruled the city is violating its rules around public meetings. Mayor Ken Sim's response next. Vancouver's ruling political party is breaking the city's code of conduct, according to its own integrity commissioner. The ruling by Lisa Southern is based on how Mayor Ken Sim and his ABC Vancouver have debated certain issues behind closed doors. Justin McElroy has more on her ruling and what those ABC emails reveal.
Vancouver's Integrity Commissioner has ruled that Mayor Ken Sim and his ABC Vancouver colleagues broke the code of conduct over their private discussions on how City Council should run. And that might sound a bit dry, but if you care about local politics, the findings are noteworthy.
What they're talking about is millions of dollars worth of taxpayers' money on projects and stuff that can be cooked up behind closed doors, and the public have no idea what's happening until it's already inked.
That is Pete Fry, the opposition Green councillor who put forward the complaint to Integrity Commissioner Lisa Southern. And you might think, isn't that just how politics works? But it depends on how you interpret the ways local politics differ from provincial or federal politics. Let me explain. At issue is whether ABC breaks the rule that a meeting of council must be open to the public, and whether the private meetings by SIM and ABC councillors comprise a meeting, given that they are a majority on council. And the Integrity Commissioner got access to emails and found that there were lots of private meetings and group chats of ABC councillors and people in the mayor's office. Councillors were giving proposed amendments by SIM's hired political staff and debated how it should be worded and framed. An ABC councillor asked how he was being asked to vote, and staff sent the amendments to the motion that councillors would bring forward at the meeting. In fact, SIM's political staff once emailed ABC councillors, telling them the rules for voting, saying that internal discussion would determine whether they would accept opposition councillors' motions. Now, councillors told Southern they ignored those rules, so that part got a pass, but she found that debating in detail how amendments would be formed and brought forward was effectively a council meeting, since ABC has a majority.
It's a very disingenuous and disrespectful way to approach the business of running the city. And I would say in this case, it's also illegal.
Now, is this going to change anything? Probably not. SIM put out a statement saying caucusing is normal, it's how thoughtful decisions are made, and that it's not misconduct. In BC, rulings of local integrity commissioners aren't binding, and council has to vote on any sanctions. So the story, at least for now, ends here. But it's worth noting another defense that ABC gave in their meetings with Southern. It's not just that discussions of amendments privately helps to improve them and get feedback, but it's the fact that doing it publicly is messy. But local politics is messy, by definition. It is the level of government closest to the people and set up for a greater degree of direct and open discussion. And whether you agree with the Integrity Commissioner's interpretation of the Code of Conduct or not, it has made things a little messier for ABC. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.
Two First Nations say they are close to purchasing and operating a port terminal for critical minerals. The purchase will make the facility in Stewart, BC, the first majority Indigenous-owned port in BC. The Nisga'a and Totem nations, along the Arrow Transportation with them, have formed a partnership to buy the Port of Stewart Bulk Terminal. Its primary purpose is transporting critical minerals such as copper concentrate to market. The waters of the port are close to several mines on BC's border with Alaska, and which are also located on Nisga'a and Totem territories.
Far too many times, Indigenous nations are kept in certain compartments within the mining realm or within other economic fields. And what we've done with the Totem is start to broaden our horizons.
The group has not commented on the price of the terminal, but the province of BC has provided a $5 million grant to both nations to support the purchase. Premier David Eby writes the venture furthers reconciliation while creating jobs. And a perfect day for some beachcombing in White Rock, where the high was sitting at 25 degrees. How long will the sun last? Darius has a look at the forecast for the week ahead coming up.
I'm Stephen Quinn, and I love living here in Vancouver, BC. It's a city with world-renowned beauty, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In our new daily podcast, This is Vancouver, we're exploring the diverse range of issues and stories in this city, the good, the bad, and everything in between, as told by the people who live it every day. Don't miss This is Vancouver, available wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll talk to you soon.
Well, it's almost the end of summer vacation. The countdown to the classroom is on. So how are kids savoring what's left of summer? CBC's Sophie Woodruff went to find out.
Sad. I'm extremely excited to meet my friends. School, I don't really like school that much. Okay, I mean, I kind of liked not having school for summer.
I'm actually excited this year. I'm not typically excited, but for college I am, so, you know.
And what are you doing to make the most of your last week?
Play as many video games as I can. Sleep in as much as I can. I went to the beach a lot.
How was that?
It was fun. Yeah, I'm really excited because I'm going to the PNU with my friend and we're having a sleepover the day before. So yeah, that's how I'm spending my last week, so I'm excited.
So there'll be kids who are, way younger than you, maybe starting elementary school, maybe going to high school for the first time. Any advice for those kids who might be a little bit nervous starting something new?
I mean, elementary school, as far as that goes, that's pretty low-key, so I think elementary school, you're just gonna have some fun. High school is a little more difficult, and my high school experience is kind of weird because of COVID, but just try your best and try to reach out with people. Yeah.
I don't know, the last day of no school, I think you should just start getting ready, start re-looking through a routine before school starts again. For people who are scared, I think they should just gather up courage and just go.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Well, you shouldn't be nervous. It's just school. Don't be nervous because I'm also really nervous, but I'm really excited because there's a lot of good things about school.
What's your favorite thing about school?
The recess.
So some helpful tips there. The return to school also means a return to gyms and playgrounds. So what matters when it comes to assessing kids' activity and fitness in 2025? For a look at that, we're going to bring in our medical columnist, Dr. Melissa Lem. Welcome. Dr. Lem, I want to start by asking you, how has our understanding and measurement of children's fitness, how has that varied over the years? How is it different now?
Well, Baneet, I might be dating myself, but when I grew up in the 1980s and 1990s, we had this Canada Fitness Awards program where kids would have to essentially compete against each other and themselves and run shuttle runs, do sit-ups and push-ups and endurance runs, and basically try to get these badges that were gold, silver, or bronze. But the problem was that kids who weren't as fit sometimes felt embarrassed or anxious about those days when we had to do those tests. And this is why this kind of testing has fallen out of favor now because of those psychological effects on kids.
Yeah, I remember doing the beep test, but I'm curious, what do we focus on now?
Today, what we focus on more is overall activity during the day. And this actually lines up really nicely with our current curricular goals, which are to empower kids to get the knowledge and skills that they need to live healthy lifestyles now and in the future.
And how do those benchmarks vary between different ages of kids?
Well, our 24-hour Canadian movement guidelines say that kids 1 to 4 should be getting at least 3 hours of some kind of movement during the day, and more active movement and active play is better. And then kids between 5 and 17 should be accumulating at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per day. But unfortunately, only 40 to 50% of children are actually achieving these goals across Canada.
When it comes to figuring out, what they want to do, what kind of activity, is there anything in particular that kids should be avoiding? Sometimes you go to a gym, you have to be 18 and older to go.
Well, weightlifting to deliberately build muscle mass is one of the things that younger children especially should not be doing because it can put strain on their growing muscles and tendons. But strength exercises are fine. Imagine a kid using their own body weight on the monkey bars or using those resistance bands. And then something else that we discourage, especially in younger children, is single sport specialization and high intensity activity, because this can increase the risk of overuse injuries and also prevent them from learning other physical skills that are important.
And, when it comes to going back to school, parents who are wanting to figure out a routine or any ideas for their kids, what kind of advice would you want to give to them?
Well, number one is role modeling is really important. Kids tend to do what we do and not what we say. So being physically active ourselves is really important. Also, finding time to do that activity together as a family is really important, and limiting screen time so there is time to exercise. And last but not least, doing as much of that exercise as you can outdoors in nature. Nature actually supercharges the positive mental and physical benefits of exercise.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lem, for some helpful tips there. I know there's so much to consider when you're going back to school beyond, the school supplies and the classroom. So that's Dr. Melissa Lem, who is our medical columnist. There's a new push to help Canadian smokers quit the habit. Tens of thousands of people are still dying each year across the country with illnesses linked to cigarettes and related nicotine products. Well, now Canada's first evidence-driven set of guidelines is aiming to change that. Christine Burack shows us how.
Smoking kills around 48,000 Canadians a year, more than alcohol, opioids, suicides, murders, and traffic collisions combined. Now Canada's first ever national guideline is out to help people quit. A list of proven strategies, including in-person or text-based counseling, nicotine replacement therapies, even a natural health medication.
We have some really powerful tools that are accessible.
But perhaps surprisingly, e-cigarettes or vaping are low down the list of aids.
It's definitely not a go-to first-line choice, especially when there are so many other effective approaches available.
Let me hypnotize you to quit smoking.
For many, though, it's tough to figure out what is effective. With profit-driven ads, flooding feeds, doctors warn smokers need help.
So I know this stuff works, guys. I am proof of that.
We asked a doctor about some of those claims.
So here are some of the things that people might be hearing work. Acupuncture.
Doesn't really work very well.
Hypnosis.
Doesn't really work very well.
St. John's wort.
No good evidence that it does anything.
He says if something's helped someone, great. But the reality is,
people need to know that their chances are way better if they get help, and they should be open to that, and that there are many options that work, and we can help them find one that works for them.
We help patients.
This addiction hospital is welcoming the guidelines, which include an old, cost-effective medication called cytosine. It mimics nicotine's effect in the brain.
When nicotine shows up, it blocks nicotine from acting. So the experience of the person smoking will say, you know what, my cigarettes, I can't finish my cigarettes. I don't like my cigarettes. I can go longer without cigarettes. And what it does is it sort of boosts their willpower to stop.
I'll never stop thinking about quitting. It would be smart. Of course, I'm not a stupid person. I'm just an addictive person.
New help for a deadly old habit. Christine Burack, CBC News, Toronto.
New COVID-19 vaccines are set to roll out this fall, and it comes as recent federal government data shows a gradual increase in COVID infections this August. Jonna Bailon reports.
Updated shots against COVID-19 have been approved by Health Canada, with vaccines by Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech coming this fall. One Richmond-based family doctor is reminding people to get their shots.
We need to make sure parents know that vaccinations are a very important thing to help keep your children from getting sick, right? And unfortunately, COVID vaccines, they are very effective.
The vaccine announcement comes after the federal government released its most recent information on coronavirus activity. According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, BC has a positive test rate of 7.2% for COVID-19, while the average across the country is 5.4%. The figures are based on lab-confirmed tests. At-home tests or cases of COVID that aren't even tested are not included in this data.
A lot of people, when they have COVID, they don't even know they have COVID, right? People are not testing.
The agency says those rates remain near the lowest levels reported this season, but that they're showing signs of a gradual increase. CBC News reached out to the Provincial Health Ministry and Provincial Health Services Authority. Both referred CBC to BC's Centre for Disease Control. The agency says COVID-19 test positivity and wastewater viral loads in BC have increased over the summer, but remain at low to moderate levels. It also says that test positivity numbers should be interpreted with caution at this time because of low overall testing volumes. Meanwhile, Dr. Kuo says it's important for anyone who falls sick to get tested for COVID-19. And as the summer eventually gives way to the fall,
don't be afraid of vaccines, get vaccinated.
She says as the virus mutates, it's important for people to ensure their shots are up to date. Jonna Bailon, CBC News, Vancouver.
Heat and bone-dry conditions fueling wildfires in wine country. How Napa Valley residents are responding next. A fast-growing wildfire in Nova Scotia has more than doubled in size since yesterday, forcing around 1,000 people from their homes. Officials say some homes have been damaged, but it's too early to assess the damage. And across the region, firefighters in New Brunswick and Newfoundland continue to battle out-of-control fires. Nicola Sajan has the latest.
Even from afar, the magnitude is clear. Nova Scotia's Long Lake wildfire more than doubling overnight. So far, the flames have forced more than 1,000 people from their homes.
I'm going to try to find a place to stay. I'm living in my truck right now.
Tim Donald is one of hundreds left reeling as officials confirm a number of homes have been destroyed. Donald's could be one of them.
I'd hate to lose all our belongings. Our house, our garage, our barn, all our equipment, stuff we've worked so hard to have.
The fire is burning in Annapolis County, around 200 kilometers west of Halifax, now covering more than 80 square kilometers. The evacuation zone increasing as hot, dry weather fanned the flames.
It's an awful feeling, an out-of-control fire. It's just an awful feeling.
The Premier warning more evacuations are possible, speaking directly to those worried about their homes.
You're going through something that is completely unimaginable, most people's worst nightmare.
Across Atlantic Canada, fires are still burning out of control, but things are looking up. In New Brunswick, conditions have improved enough to lift the ban on hiking and camping in the woods.
Folks who have helicopters, planes, trucks, dozers, you name it, spare beds, kitchens, New Brunswickers have been stepping up to help.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, the massive Kingston fire that destroyed more than 200 homes is still not under control, but it hasn't grown, allowing some residents to return home.
I think a lot of people are traumatized when they go back to their homes.
Though conditions are turning in parts of Atlantic Canada, bringing hope after weeks of anguish, Nova Scotia is still battling the worst of it. And though some rain is falling, officials warn it won't bring much relief. Nicola Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
Firefighters are also dealing with dry, hot, and windy conditions in the heart of California's wine country. A fire in Napa County is over 27 square kilometers, and it's only 13% of it that's contained. But so far, there are no reports of damage to structures or vineyards. The fire triggered a state of emergency on Sunday, and hundreds of people are under evacuation orders or alerts. A powerful typhoon has made landfall in Vietnam, lashing the country's coastal provinces with strong winds and rains. Almost 600,000 people across the country were ordered to leave their homes ahead of Typhoon Kajiki's arrival on Monday afternoon. It brought with it winds of up to 133 kilometers per hour. Schools and airports were also shut down. Darius Madavi joins us now with another look at the weather. Darius, we've had some sizzling days. Is that heat here to stay?
It is for at least the next, almost a week or so. It really depends where you are. Some parts of the island, North Island, has not seen these above average temperatures, but it's really the only place that hasn't. They've been sitting right around seasonal, around 20. The west coast of the island will start to see their temperatures come down over the next couple days. The rest of the island will soon follow mid to late week. Here on the coast, our temperatures may moderate a little bit, sort of towards the end of the week on Thursday, but then are expected to come back up a little bit more for the weekend. And for those areas inland, this ridge of high pressure is not really moving, except for shifting a little bit further inland. So while the coast gets a little bit more cloud moving in, a little bit of relief, the interior is expected to continue to get this heat pretty much through the end of the work week and potentially into the weekend as well. If we take a look at these heat warnings that we have, the zero along the north and central coast, the inland sections, those are expected to remain in place through Wednesday. For these areas that are further in the interior, we've got the Fraser Canyon, the lower Thompson, and the southern Okanagan. Those places could see those warnings last, again, like I said, right into Friday. Oh, sorry, everybody. There we go. Now, those temperatures are going to continue to remain high, as I said, in the interior. They will start to moderate a little bit as we get into midweek in some places, but we're still talking in the mid-30s in many places, especially in places like the Thompson and the Fraser Canyon. Now, I do want to talk just Briefly about the impact that climate change has had on driving these temperatures. This map, these colors here, the light orange color that you can see spreading across the vast majority of the province, that means that climate change has made these high temperatures at least twice as likely. This really dark red color that you see along the coast mountains, that means 5 times more likely because of climate change. These kinds of heat waves are really driven in part by climate change, or at least, made far more likely because of climate change. That also means that our fire danger has climbed quite rapidly. The orange color here, that is high fire danger. Earlier, just at the end of last week, the north was still very green, so low fire danger. That has continued to climb as well. As we expect to see more lightning towards the end of the week, we could see the potential for new fire starts there as well. We may see some smoke start to move into parts of the province, especially around midweek. Most of that is coming up from Washington. Hopefully we don't see elevated fire activity that drives more smoke from our fires here in BC as well. That surface smoke will mostly be confined to coastal areas as well as a few spots in the interior. But again, just sunny skies over the next few days, no precipitation in sight. Bit of high cloud beneath, but the story is really those temperatures.
Hanging on to lots of sunshine there. Thank you, Darius.
Thank you.
And a group of Indigenous youth recently stepped into the boots of firefighters. As Shoria Chetri reports, organizers say this is an opportunity to spark interest in firefighting careers.
Breaking down a locked door with an axe and a crowbar. Not a typical Saturday morning, but for these young Indigenous students, it's a chance to spark an interest in firefighting.
This is like my first station. Right now we're breaking down the door, which is super cool. I'm kind of just here for the experience, and maybe I'll see if I want to do a career in firefighting.
The camp is led by Vancouver firefighter Matthias Ballantyne, a member of the Mississipauctic Cree Nation. He says many Indigenous youth don't realize this career is even an option.
I definitely didn't think that this was something for me, that you don't see your uncles or cousins or family members part of this, so you don't think it's an option for you.
There's stiff competition getting into Vancouver Fire Rescue Services. Sometimes there's more than 1,200 applicants vying for just 16 job openings. That's why this camp focuses on building skills early. Here they practice moving while wearing the full uniform, air tanks, hoses, and axes, about 22 kilograms in total.
Yeah, how does it feel?
Kinda easy. Really? Many of the trainers are Indigenous firefighters in training who once stood where these students are now.
Being a part of these weekend programs, it's something that really made me realize my dream and something to aspire to when I was older.
Beyond the technical side, trainers also want to pass on their love for the profession and the spirit of service that drives them.
I just fell in love with the culture of the fire department, the family aspect, and giving back to my community, really.
To have a career helping people, you know, I just want to get out there and help as many people as I can.
The hope is that passion will inspire more Indigenous youth and maybe turn a weekend workshop into a lifelong calling. Shoria Chetri, CBC News, Vancouver.
A Kamloops restaurant owner has set a new world record, cooking for hours. More on how she did it next.
So I know when I really like a song if within the first 3 seconds I'm already vibing to it.
Hey, I'm Rohith Joseph. Vibin' is the new show all about discovering great new songs and fresh artists from across BC and beyond.
It's not one person dictating what good music is, it's the community sharing what good music is.
Stream Vibin' on CBC Listen.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
Join CBC's Dan Burrett on September 24th at Dakota's signature fundraising event, the Team Trivia Challenge, supporting Literacy Month in BC. Register your team at dakota.ca. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter at cbc.ca/Vancouver inbox and keep connected with us.
A totem pole is making its way from Vancouver to northern BC, back to where it belongs.
As Wamish Hamilton reports, delegates from the Nisga'a Nation came together to bless the pole before it started the journey.
The families used to live along the Nass River. Their poles, their story, their beings were in front of the longhouses of the family.
A delegation of Nisga'a people from Lac La Zappe in northern BC was at the UBC Museum of Anthropology this month to bless one of its own, a carved wooden pole that was taken from a family more than a century ago is now being returned.
When anything of value is being moved and is sacred, we would bless, and having the blessing really helped out. Not only the pole, but it also helped the family.
The pole will make the journey to Lac La Zappe in late September. The blessing includes wiping the pole and its metal encasing down with cedar boughs. It ensures it safely reaches its home.
It's important to the family because it reminds us, and it'll be a constant reminder of where we came from, who we are.
The Haldanes are the descendants of the family the pole was taken from. The previous Samogat, which is the Nisga'a word for chief, was Hubert Haldane, and his Nisga'a name was La. Moore says Haldane saw the pole 2.5 years ago in a museum exhibit. After embracing it, he said it needed to return home now. Talk started, but he died before he could see his plans accomplished. His title and name passed to his younger brother Bruce, who is finishing what was started. Moore says carved poles aren't just pieces of wood. They tell your family story, so they're part of your family and are living beings. When the pole was blessed, it was the first time in over a century it heard the language and songs of home. And that's when it awakened.
As the pole was being blessed, I was standing beside it, as well as Smogat La. And I looked down, and I thought it was a hallucination or something, but it appeared that the pole was breathing, just similar to a human being, with the stomach raised and lowered as it breathed. And the power that it appeared to have had, and not only I, but a number of other people that were in at the time felt the presence.
The pole will be raised at the museum in Lac La Zappe on September 29th. Wamish Hamilton, CBC News, Vancouver.
A Kamloops restaurant owner has broken records for continuous cooking while standing.
The owner of Afrofusion cooked countless plates of food for 300 hours straight, all for a good cause.
Let's go shopping. My name is Zainab Oladipo. I'll be taking on the Guinness World Record attempt for the longest cooking marathon. I'm cooking around the clock, a minimum of 22 hours. Onions, ginger, and garlic is very common in all, like most African food, especially red onions. So this is good. So the standing record is 140 hours, and I'm going for 300 hours.
Hello, how is it going?
Good.
Good, you cold?
Yeah.
How many hours have you been cooking for?
Currently we're at 92 hours.
You look exhausted. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling exactly how I look. I'm tired, but I'm going.
How many hours or days do you have left to cook for?
I don't know how many days, but I know it's I know it's 208 more hours. So these are puff puffs. It's delicious, which you will try and testify to. And every time, aside from when you go for a break, you have to be cooking or working on a dish. So once you have something on fire, you have to be either working on the next dish. There's no stop for another 45 hours. For each day we have 24 dishes from the 24 countries.
I feel like when this is all over, you're never going to want to cook again.
I don't think so. You know why? Because I'm not cooking the same thing. I'm cooking every hour. I'm cooking something different. I'm telling you, I've taken a class in geography just in this kitchen, and I'm learning a lot. So I feel like it's an adventure every time I start.
I was going to say, I don't know if I have the patience to go for a Guinness World Record like that, but I mean, the celebration is so good. I feel like it's worth it.
Definitely worth it. That is equivalent to 12 and a half days of cooking.
Wow. How long do you think the record is for a weather forecast? I feel like I could get that one.
I feel like you should know that.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6.
And you can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube, and of course our website, that's cbc.ca/BC. I will have your next local news at 11 o'clock right after the National. Good night.